so dope. A man with a watch looking like he broke the bank, but he promised me he's not. He said he got started from his wife and a pop's watch, face so fat the band had stretch marks. It shines so bright that you can see it from Mars. Man, he blinded me, reflecting headlights from the cars. He's got to be a rapper, baller, or a movie star, but nah, he's too humble to be all of the above. So he said, my name is Trap, oh, cause you bees in the trap. Nah, it ain't even like that, and he tilted his bull's cap. Introduced me to his wife, and she had one too. Wrist game so cold that she could build igloos out of nothing. They legit, they even bless their kids.
Yo, what's going on, family? Welcome in. Just want to have a little fun with the we got Halloween is coming up. So we're not gonna be on here for long. What I'm gonna do is I know some folks are watching NFL this Sunday. My team already played, came in and conquered. Man, it's about time that the Bears, when it did something like that, you know what I'm saying? They guys did your thing, man. Did your thing. That's like our first home game win in a long time. So other than that, man, so check this out. Today's episode, I wasn't even gonna have a show, but I was like you, a lot of you guys. I watch a lot of YouTube at times, man, and there's a podcast called About Effing Time. And yo, what's going on? Welcome in. So on this podcast, they had a crazy topic today, man. Hold up, I was actually pulling it up as I just got caught up in that whole intro. I forgot I even had that intro. But so what they were talking about, like, what if you were like the CEO? If you could be the CEO of your favorite watch company, what company would you be the CEO of, and what would you change about it? Right. So this is what I'm gonna do. I know everybody's in different positions right now. Everybody's doing something different, possibly. But I am going to drop the link. And if you want to come up and name whatever company that is, feel free. If not, I have one that actually got a couple that I was considering. All right, hold up. I was just pulling up About Effing Time. Which, if you've never seen it, it's funny. These guys are actually pretty funny, and got a pretty good show. What's going on, House X? What's happening? Hush about them Bears. Oh, my bad, bro. Hey, you know what? We needed that, man. Little rookie quarterback. That boy was out there. Boy, he got field vision. I was feeling that. Oh, speaking of which, watch of the day. Yeah, I had this watch on most of the day. Right there. Check that out. My Alpina, you feel, made out of recycled trash, plastics from the ocean, from the seas and stuff of that nature. So it's a recycled watch that just happened to be on point. And outside of that, I know a little bit of history of Alpina, but I'm going to be talking about that. Unless you want to come up and talk about what watch company, if you was the CEO of a watch company, what would it be? And their title, which again, I give them all credit because I was inspired by what they did. Their title was taking over a big watch brand. This is what we do is the title. And they had some great, like I said, some great talking points. But that brought me to what's going on, Joe? That brought me to let's just, address Invicta. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I was the CEO of Invicta, what would I do? I talked to Dave D earlier today, and I asked him, bro, if you could be the CEO of a company, a watch company, which company would it be? You know what? I'm not even going to jump into Invicta. I'm not going to jump into Invicta yet. And if you look at this thumbnail, I'll put Casio and Seiko, but just think about it. And you can, even if you don't want to come up, if you want to put in the chat, if you could be the CEO of a company, which watch company would you be the CEO of, and what would be the first thing you would do? Or would you just say, hey, you know what? I love what y'all are doing. Just keep it moving. You know what I'm saying? So, like, what would you do? What is that company that you guys are thinking of? We talked about Aragon today. And I honestly believe like what Wing is doing over at Aragon. Um, I think he's doing an amazing job. You know what I'm saying? He's putting out some great product, and it seemed like, man, he's putting out as many watches as Jordan putting out. You know what I'm saying? Shoes every month. You know, it's like 3, 4 watches may drop. As a matter of fact, oh, where is that? I got one watch that hold up. So it's a watch simplistic. I haven't reviewed this watch, but this right here, man, this is the Parma cushion case. Is simple, right? Green dial. Nothing, no date window or anything like that. And hold up, dual deployment clasp on it, and it got that blue rotor. Anybody that got history with Aragon know that there was a point in time where the blue rotor only came on particular pieces, like anything that was over $250. You know what I'm saying? Some of the more pristine pieces. Now he's dropping it in this right now. I don't know if that code is still going. They had a code where you can save like $55. So if I was CEO of Aragon, I think the only thing I would do different is possibly have like more social media presence. You know, I think that's the one thing um as far as Wing is doing that I would critique. As far as like what he's doing is a brand, I don't know how he feels about, you know, his watch being referred to as an alternative to Invicta, but let's keep it 100. You do have Invicta, which, you know, what's the average size for Invicta? 50. I'm gonna just say 50 millimeters is that in between. You know what I'm saying? That I think everybody can agree on that. You know what I'm saying? If you are a 40 millimeter to 47 millimeter, you would consider a 50. Those that would like the 52s all the way up to the 63 millimeters, or they got a 70 millimeter something. I forgot what was it, a shack piece, like 70 millimeters, man. Like it's crazy. Thing's crazy big. So I'd imagine that everybody will be kind of happy with that 50 millimeter. So Wayne has that. You know what I'm saying? He got a lot of what's going on, like Wayne? He has a number of watches, and then he just dropped that his dive master, which is 40 millimeter. Some of the colorways that you used to, like the Batman, and then he got that yellow and white, which I don't know what that was. Bumblebee, maybe. Who knows? What's going on, Nightwing? Only on special pieces the blue dial was on, but now it's most new executions. Yeah, Cliff, and that's what I was talking about. So as the president, the head engineer, the man that takes these watches to the next level, I think as far as creativity and giving the people what it's like, he's listening to the customer. That's the biggest thing. I think of all watch companies, I don't care which watch company it is, if you were a CEO of a company, I mean, that would be like my major concern is giving the people what they want instead of me just dropping some stuff. Um, and again, I don't know what it would take to be a CEO. I would have to, you know what I'm saying, if I was in that position, of course it would take, you know what I'm saying, like a time for me to research and see what needs to be changed, if anything. That's that, you know, and I don't take that lightly. What's going on, Kenny? I don't take that lightly, but um as far as Aragon is concerned, that would be the only thing. If I was the CEO of Aragon, I would continue in the same direction that Wing is doing because I think he's doing an amazing job. He's putting out a great product. His customer service is A1, and that's, I mean, I can't nobody argue with that. Anybody's ever dealt with Wing, if you do have a problem, all you gotta do is call him, like, hey, send it back. It's no problem. He takes care of everything. That's somebody that stands by, and he's been doing that for what, I want to say 25 or 30 years. It's one of the two, maybe 30. I'm not sure. Wing is an exceptional designer of awesome pieces. So, Cliff, let me ask you this: if you were CEO of Aragon, would you change anything, or would you just keep it moving the way it is? Because me personally, this is me, just my personal opinion. Um, I don't see anything, you know, I'm pretty sure, like, because a lot of you guys have more experience with Wing's product than I do, because you got some of you guys started when he was with Android, when he had Android. Um, but since I've been on, man, I love the designs he has, you know, and I think he just covers it across the board. The only other thing is like his social media presence. You know, he do get on I believe he should have somebody else doing that. You know what I'm saying? Somebody just as passionate. Now, I will say this about Wing when he's explaining his watches, dude, you can tell like every piece that he puts out, man. When he gets really excited, he stutters. He's trying to get it out, man. It's almost like he just has this intersection that's only this big, but he got that much, matter of fact, that much of information, and it comes like, and then it comes out, and then he'll go back to his regular point. It's awesome though. I would look more. Would look to more social media advertising and look to build another store in Cali. Okay, okay. So you were saturated. So and that's the other thing too is, oh man, of all the brands, there's so many different brands. We're gonna talk about that too. We're not just gonna talk about being a CEO because they just had a wind up show that just ended earlier today in New York, which I wasn't able to go to, but from what I saw, man, was an amazing, amazing, amazing opportunity. And y'all, I am a firm believer for all of you guys that are watch collectors, that are enthusiasts. If you can get to some of these shows, man, most definitely you got to go to one of these shows. I mean, you have to go to one of these shows. Hold up, matter of fact, let's see. Do I have this thing loaded up? I do not. Hold on, y'all. Give me just a second. I'm looking for one particular download that I have. Okay, there it is right there. So I'm going to show you guys something real quick. Y'all see that? November 11th and 12th. It's time. Join us in Austin. This is the Microlux, but they are now called minutes and hours. If you look up there, I mentioned this about a week ago. Dude, and that's one of the largest, like one of the largest micro brand events that you'll go to, man. It's a lot of major stuff. And that's one thing I will say, and let's talk about one, because I went to a micro brand show, and this is going to this segue from, I'm going to talk right about Invicta here in a second, because y'all know I've been collecting Invicta since 2014. Wifey got me 2 pieces, and after that, is a wrap. She bought me my first 22 Invicta timepieces. She was just boom, she was snapping off, just going back to back. And I was like, okay, cool, this is cool. And on my 22nd piece, that was by 2018, I went to, Invicta Cruise, and of course I started buying my own watches from there. But she was still buying me pieces, you know what I'm saying? But that was an enjoyable time. However, now we have micro brands, which micro brands were a thing then. I just didn't know because my attention was on that. Let me bring your attention to this right here, Swiss Watch Company. I learned about this company at a Microlux event when they were called Microlux in Chicago last year. Or was that early this year? I can't remember. Time is, just going past just quick. But I was impressed with what they do, right? And then you look at the price. That's the number one thing. It's always going to be, well, let me take that back. I can't speak for everybody. Some people don't care about the price. They just want great quality. But, for what you get, the customer service aspect, the dimensions, how it fit and feel and all that other stuff, man, all that stuff plays a major part in, the watches that you put on your wrist. So in question of being a CEO, the company that you're following, do you think that they're doing everything possible to, who we got back here, man? Who we got? We got somebody sitting in the wings waiting to come up here, man. Somebody, hold up, man. Who we get, man? I don't even see your face, bro. Where you at? Because I don't want to put you on the screen because it look like you at a table or something, or maybe you about to do something like major. You got some music. Hold on, check this out. We got Larry C in the building. Larry C, where you at?
Can you hear me, Trap Vision?
Yeah. I can hear you.
What's up, bro? Larry C here. I followed your channel. Random Rob recommended me to you.
All right.
After men up at the Chicago Windup.
Yep.
So I've been checking out your channel, bro. I like it. And I seen your live stream pop up, and I figured I'd hop on here real quick because I like the topic a lot. And it's not Invicta related, but it's a close sister brand, Glycine. And if I was CEO of Glycine, the first thing I would do is come out with a GMT movement. Oh snap! I see your combat sub.
Yeah.
Nice. Nice. If you get a chance, you should pick up an airman if you get a chance.
Okay.
The first thing I would do if I was CEO of Glycine would be to come out with a GMT movement that
Mm-hmm.
has a quick set date pusher with this. See how it's got a secondary 4 o'clock crown for the
Yeah.
GMT bezel? So I've always thought it'd be cool if they would turn this into a quick set date pusher, and that way you could have your primary crown utilizing a jumping hour hand.
Gotcha.
So you know how most GMT hands work, or they rotate with the hands, and then you can set it independently with your 3 o'clock crown, and then you have a traveler's GMT like in the the GMT Master 2s and
Yep.
a lot of some other brands are coming out with them on the more affordable side as well. But what you get when you have a true traveler's GMT is you don't get a quick set date, right?
Right.
So you have to jump your hour hand around the dial. And if you're like me, you got multiple watches, right?
Yes, sir.
There's a bronze airman here,
That's
a big
beautiful.
man. Yeah, they're beautiful, dude.
That's beautiful. Now let me ask you this. Hey Jay Jones, I see you, bro. Give me just a second. Let me ask you this. Did you get a chance to go to the wind up show?
No, I haven't been. I'm on the East Coast, so I'm trying to I just missed New York. I think Rob was just in New York. But I'm trying to make it to like district time. And
Okay.
I'm trying to get into some more events and stuff like that. But with both GMTs, right, there's drawbacks to both types, right? So
Mm-hmm.
with a traveler's GMT, you have to jump your hour hand all the way around the dial, right, just to change your date. And if you're like me, when you pick your automatic watch up, you could have cycled through 3 or 4, right? And you could be 5, 6, 8 days away, and it'd be a real pain in the butt to jump your
Jump.
GMT
Yep.
hand all the 5 times around the dial just to get to the correct date, right?
Right.
So with these types, you get a quick set date, but you don't get the jumping hour hand. So if you're traveling, from the East Coast to the West Coast, and there's that 3-hour time difference, it's convenient for that jumping hour hand. So if I was CEO of Glycine, the first thing I do is get a movement that has your jumping hour hand for your traveling, and then I'd incorporate a date pusher with this 4 o'clock crown because that locks your bezel in place. But
Okay.
so when you
Okay.
unscrew it, you can turn it bi-directional, right? So that's
Right.
all it is, and it's nice to have it because it's got a little catch there. So when you set your secondary time zone and you lock it down, it won't move on you. So that's a nice feature.
Okay. Okay. And see, that's the information I like to hear because like as a collector, a lot of us are always looking for the next best thing or something more convenient or doable when it comes to the watches that we collect, man. So that's a great point, bro.
Yo, the Glycine Airman is one of the first GMTs out there. It beat the
What's up, Jay Jones?
I see you. What's up, baby? How you doing? I
All
just
right.
wanted to come in. I'll talk to you in a minute.
Okay. I see all those watches you got in the background. Watch cases.
Quiet now. Quiet now.
Oh, you're good, Jerry. What's up, bro?
What's up, bro? How you making out, man?
Doing all right, bro.
No.
I'm glad Trap Vision brought up this topic because it's an interesting one. So yeah, with this You can hear my daughter in the background.
Hey,
Well,
baby, how you
listen,
doing?
listen, kids,
Good.
kids. I love kids, man. So you guys can leave and let the kids do the show.
Yeah, and Honey Bun is actually watching Disney right now. Else she'd be in here right now with me. So
No, I want
That's awesome. Do you like watches, Jasmine? She said no. She shook her
no,
head.
Yeah, because that dumb and stupid.
Ooh,
And
ooh,
and take
ooh,
pictures of us.
ooh. Dumb
That's
and
how she feels. Yeah, you don't get more real than that.
hey, I
Um,
promise, man. Kids are so, man, I love it, man. I love it. That is
mm.
funny.
Look,
Guys, guess what?
What's up?
I lost my baby tooth.
You lost your
oh,
tooth?
Yeah,
I hope the tooth fairy bought
my
you
So
some.
I was
first
gonna say
ever
it's
one.
time to get paid. It's time to get paid.
Yeah, and it's my first ever one too.
Oh, oh,
Oh
oh,
wow.
oh,
Oh, that's a
oh.
big one. The first one,
No pressure, fairy tooth God person.
God person,
But
whoever it is, yeah.
whoever you are, sounds pretty lucrative for a first time tooth. I'm just saying.
no, they're talking about the tooth fairy. So yeah, the tooth fairy is gonna have to come.
Give me money.
Yep, gonna have to give
Ooh,
you some
I
money.
love these money.
hey,
I want
isn't it
some money.
amazing? They know about tooth fairy
My
money
dad,
already.
my daddy yanked it out.
Oh,
Oh,
okay. Hey,
I
look,
didn't cry.
you didn't cry?
No, I'm a tough
Hold up.
girl.
I got to give
But
you the hype button for that.
I was nervous.
That's, hey, you a trooper. Because I cried on my first one. My grandmother held me in the headlock and just snatched it out, my first tooth. And I remember it.
We were
well,
gonna do the old string trick with the door, but I couldn't tell
the old
it
string
small
with the.
enough.
Hey, that didn't work with me.
That's
My grandma tried that
that's
first. Well,
brutal.
actually, my mother tried that. And
That's
every time she
brutal.
went to slam the door, I would move forward with the
Yeah, that's
door.
It's
brutal.
a myth. It's a myth.
Mm-mm-mm-mm.
It's a myth. It's made up. It don't work.
That's brutal, man. That's torture. The door. Nah.
I lose.
All right. Here, you gotta go get ready for school. Okay,
Can I
Jazz?
talk to them?
No.
Okay, that looks like the deep blue watch face wave in Larry's background. Oh, it does. It
Yeah.
does. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I
Oh,
saw
yeah,
that. That is
that's the Seiko wave background.
Hello.
okay.
Hello.
Hey, sweetie.
Trap, the
Hey,
only
and I
reason I
want to
came
welcome
on,
everybody in, keeping up with the Griffins. I see you in there. Everybody that just walked in. Tristan Bell, thank you guys for being here. Nightwing, of course. Dave D is in the building. The godfather of watch collecting. He actually went to the windup. He was there.
What? What do
Oh,
you
yeah.
mean?
Dave D.
well,
Sweetie,
Dave D
Dave
is
D
number
is the
one, man.
ultimate watch collector
He's
of
number
the
one.
world.
He's
He's
number
number one.
one.
You
He's
talk
number
about
one.
me, Trap. You talk about me. He's number one.
Hey, hey,
Dave D is the man.
listen, let me tell you something. And you see, there was information that was given to me as far as watches and pictures and stuff like that. He's so legit that I can't even talk about it, man. It's like you have to have a super secret clearance to get access to the watches that he has in his collection.
Mm-hmm.
I literally just got my secret clearance. Was that
I
sweet?
didn't get
Hey, how
mine
you doing?
yet.
I saw the hand. I saw your hand.
I didn't get mine yet, Trap. I didn't
Don't
get
put
Hey,
my
the
secret
camera
clearance yet.
on.
hey, bro, it take a minute. I applied for it 2 years ago. It just came.
But
Wait.
only reason I came on because I wanted to tell
Hello.
people how good you really are, man. Oh goodness, Trap, how good you really are with your information. Because remember I
Did you
talked to
hear
you
that?
about the 3 watches I wanted to get with
Yes,
that
yes,
movement.
yeah.
I got them. I know how to set them. I love them.
You got it? Okay, cool, cool,
And I
cool,
want to say
cool.
thank you. Now I can get out of here and watch the track. You can do the chat, and
Okay.
that's all. I want to say thank you. And hey guys, if Trap tells you something, 94.5% of the time, he's
Yeah.
pretty good. Then
Uh,
there's that. Then there's that 5.5% that he's.
hey, listen, I take that, bro. I take that. What's going on, Vinny? I appreciate that, man. Hey, Rob Foster's in the building. What's
So
going on?
I'm gonna go, but I'll be on the chat. Talk to you later.
Okay, all right, bro. Thanks for coming up. So glycine. That's what. So let me ask you this before we dive into some other stuff. Did you hear the latest news about glycine and Invicta?
I have not.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, one of the biggest drawbacks that was mentioned on any YouTuber or big time YouTuber was people would dive deeper into glycine, but they're owned by Invicta, and they had a scare or fear that Invicta would actually interfere with interfere with them pretty much. And hold on, let me see. I may have some information here. Let me see if I can pull this up real quick. I may not have it saved in my. Yeah, I don't have it saved. Well, let me just say this: Invicta and glycine actually have a watch coming up together that people had. They didn't want Invicta interfering with glycine's Swiss heritage. Well, I'm here to tell you it's called the Element Collection. If you go on Invicta group page and type in glycine, you'll see it. It's like one of the first screens that you see. So they actually have a quartz watch. It's a Z60. It's a 41 millimeter. I think it's like 12 to 13 millimeter stick, somewhere in between there. And I mean, it's chronograph, flame fusion crystal, and it has glycine at the top and Invicta right underneath the glycine. And I don't
That's
know how.
crazy. I mean, I can say from personal experience, I don't know how well you can see, but this is pre-Invicta glycine, and it's got the ETA 2893 in the back.
Ooh.
This is pre-Savita as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I gotta say, when Invicta took over glycine, I think a lot of people had the same concerns. But I have this is post Invicta. This is a much newer Airman, and I gotta say that the quality is still there. I mean, it went from being a 200-meter pilot watch, and
Mm-hmm.
now they only have 100 meters. But I mean, if you need more than 200 meters of water resistance and you're a pilot watch, I think you got more pressing matters going on.
You ain't
Um,
lying.
but so I feel like 100 meters of water resistance
It's
is
good enough.
plenty. It's more than like people like me you need in day-to-day life.
Yes.
But I mean, the water resistance is nice to have because with kids you're always active, and you could find yourself in a squirt gun fight real quick, messing around with them in the yard or whatever. So you never know what you're going to get into. So I can say she's grabbing her phone. I can say that post Invicta, glycine seems to be doing a lot of the things that we like to see as previous generation owners. You know what I mean?
Right.
Even though the size did go up, like this is 46, still really comfortable, and it's only 12 millimeters
I
thin.
know that thing's nice, man.
They're thin, and I like the long sweeping lugs like this. They did a really good job with these. So I started with Invicta. I got like an 8-slot dive case and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But shortly after, I moved on to glycine, and then I found myself with Seiko. This is one of my newer pickups. It's a Captain Willard U.S. ice diver.
Ooh,
So yeah, it's pretty slick.
that's really nice.
Yeah, they're nice. I don't know how well you can see it or anything like that.
No, I can see it. I can see it plenty good. That's really nice.
It's got a beautiful textured dial on here. And I don't know if you remember my channel or not. You've actually commented on a couple of my videos. I do mods.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
This is a Batman that I built with a custom rotor on the back. Slim case back, so it takes that chunkiness of the SKX away just a little bit. I mean, it does have that double dome sapphire crystal and stuff, but so I moved on from just purchasing watches and then wanting to make them myself, and then here's my latest Pepsi that I just built.
Sheesh.
I don't know how well you can see that.
That's nice. Because it
Yeah,
like
it's
what the way the lights hit, it almost looked like it's root. Okay, that light came in a little bit. It almost looked root beerish at the bottom.
yeah, it's got a sunburst dial on there, so it plays nicely in the light. It's got some darker areas, and then when the light hits it, it brightens up a lot. So um, NH34 build, both of these are.
Okay.
So um, yeah,
And
I've
you know,
been
I do want to say this. I was talking to Dave D today, and of course, it's easy to say that for some companies, like being the CEO of a watch company. Now, the one thing that I would add to yours is I don't honestly believe that glycine gets a lot of press. It's not advertised as much, and outside of, let me see, who's the only person? There's a few people that talk about it, but I feel like, who was that? The Urban Gentry mentioned glycine, and then it's like, because he has over 500,000 subscribers, and he got other people watching him. With the week that he said it, there were like a few people that popped up with the glycine video, and I'm gonna be honest with you, sometimes like today, because this video was actually inspired by It's About Effing Time, right? So, we all is if you got a YouTube channel and you see one of the big dogs mention something, you're like, oh crap, let me go over there and check it out. You know what I'm saying? It's like chasing a news story. But then Seiko comes out or some other watch will kind of, it's like squirrel. You'll have one of those type of moments. And there's some people that will miss out because I think glycine, matter of fact, it's not what I think. Glycine is one of the best Swiss made products that you can get for the price. You cannot argue the price, man, when you come down to it, honestly. Celine,
bro. The
what's
quality is there. This is all. I mean, $600 is a lot to spend on a watch, but I mean, when you're talking about comparatively, Glycine offers the best Swiss-made, pound for pound champ right
yep,
here, by far and away. The quality you get, the sapphire crystal, the case construction, the water resistance, the movement alone. If you try to get one of these SW330s, um, you'd spend like $300 on the movement.
yep.
I mean, granted, Glycine has the benefit being backed by Invicta. They're purchasing, thousands a lot cheaper. But if you were to try and source parts yourself, you'd be well over $600 into trying to get something like this. And trust me, I know when I build watches, sports parts, I try to source a lot of OEM, dials and hands and parts like that. So you can get up well past $600 on even a Seiko mod. You know what I mean? For one that's done well with the scratch resistance and ceramic that, if you're a watch geek like us, the exact parts we're looking for. So you can get a little nitpicky about it, but the end result, speaks for itself. So, when you compare something like that to a glycine and just being able to go purchase it, it's really, in my mind, it's definitely one of the go-tos for anybody looking to get their first Swiss watch or anything like that. You can't go wrong with a glycine.
Okay, yeah, man, I
And
agree with you.
that's why I so badly want to. I don't know if you've seen like the Ball GMT. They're actually one of the first that they have pushers on the side,
Yeah.
so you can. So it's basically an SW330, right? And the crown operates the same way as this does, and your GMT jumps with your 3 o'clock crown, but they can jump your hour back and forth with the pushers on the side. So you
Mm.
get the benefit of a quick set date, but if you want to travel, you have your pushers. So if Ball can do it with a Solido movement, I think that Glycine could do something really similar and keep the 3 o'clock crown doing what it does basically, and then just add some sort of pusher. That way you get the benefit of being able to travel with your GMT and you don't lose that quick set date function.
You know what? I mean, I'm no watchmaker, of course, just a fan of it, but watchmakers are always pushing the envelope, man. I have a I don't know where it's located right now, but I actually have a Pagani, right? And it's the equivalent. It's I guess the homage to the Daytona with the jewels around it. And for the chronograph, when I first got it, I didn't really look at the description. I just bought the watch, right? Of just basically off the way it looked, it was the right price. And when I got it and I looked at it, you got the screw down crown. It has 100 meters of water resistance, sapphire crystal. I was like, man, it's crazy. And it has this Japanese movement that allows you to set the day of the week, the month, and the date or whatever, right? And I was like, wait a minute, the chronograph has all these things and it's just hitting the function pusher. So if that watch, which was $100, can do that, of course, I'm pretty sure, man. Yeah. So we need you to apply for the new CEO position so we can get this new airman. Now, and as far as price is concerned, I want to ask you, Larry, what do you think is too much to pay for a watch? Honestly, like what is your breaking point? What is your like? I'm not going past this. What is that? What does that look like?
Bro, it's always changing. When I first started collecting, it was like I wouldn't spend any more than $200-300.
Okay.
And now when you talk about this Seiko Captain Willard US Ice Divers, this retails for $1,300,
Yeah.
$1,400. Now I got it for a good deal in the Random Rob Discord. Shout out to Rob. And if you get a chance to get in there sometime, you need to hit him up and try to get in the Discord, because he's got a section in there called Flippers where you can, people post watches for sale all the time. So I was able to pick this thing up for well under the $1,300 price point. But I was looking at the watch before it came up available on Flippers, and I was prepared to pay the $1,300. So, the price point changes like so fast. Before you know it, it's like you're looking at Omega and Breitling and so many others, like Tudor. You're lusting after a Tudor, before you know it. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
yeah.
In my mind, I mean, it's always like keep what you can afford, because let's face it, the economy, like it's not doing so hot right now for nobody. You know what I mean?
True.
I like to stay in like the $600 price point.
Okay.
For me right now, but I go outside of that sometimes. I did pick up an Oris Aquis a while back. These are Swiss made. These are like $1,100. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's got that custom red rotor. But again, it's just a Sellita SW200. Same kind of movement that you would find in a combat sub. So it's all relative. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, you know what? Okay, so because I was looking at Rob was saying, 600 maybe. If it smacks me hard upside the head, I'd pay a lot more. I think honestly, as a collector, especially Invicta, let's just keep it 100. Invicta does have a bad name when it comes to particular people on YouTube, and like Invicta as a whole, their business practices with retailers, I can understand why. But Invicta has brought a lot of people to the table. Just to be 100, you know what I'm saying? I've heard so many people say.
I agree 100%. I wouldn't be spending what I spend on watches today if it wasn't for Invicta and
Right.
You know what I mean? It's an easy way for people to get their feet wet per se, or get their toes in the water, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
It introduces you to good looking dive watches. And like you said, there's so many people on YouTube that won't admit it even right now, that wouldn't be in the hobby. Dude, they hide it. You know what I mean? Why why hide it? You know what I mean? When I do show up to random Rob meetups and stuff like that, I show up with my 8 slot dive case. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? And Rob and a lot of his buddies and stuff like that, you know, have collected Invicta and will still buy one every now and then. You know,
Yeah.
he's got a lot of love for the that vintage inspired one. I think it's called the 83 or the 93, something
Mm-hmm.
like that. And it's like an ongoing thing. You know, that's a crazy good watch for like $120. It's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
The middle of the
Yeah.
night.
I mean, and the one thing, I was telling Dave earlier, if I was like the CEO of Invicta right now, and I know some of you guys are not going to like what I'm about to say, possibly, but I would actually cut the collections in half. I will cut the collections in half. I know some of you guys love. I mean, there's over 50 collections, but I would like to focus on the heritage line that Invicta has, and that is, I would take like 5 from that lineup, like the Pro Diver. I'll take the Sabakwa, series. I know they don't call it Russian Diver anymore. They're calling it the Diver, but like I'll take that, the Lupa, and those will be all Swiss made. All of them will have sapphire crystals. Those will be like, because it's a heritage, I would keep those at the top, and I will still keep that whole idea of minimizing, the cost. If it still says Swiss made on there instead of, Swiss movement instead of Swiss made, hey, Invicta has to, do price cuts in order to, make it do what it do. Hold on, y'all. Got a visitor. Hey, she's doing a drive-by.
Oh, hey.
And what's going on? Say hey. She's getting her hair. She just took her hair down, and she's trying to get watches. Here. So, don't, you better not drop it.
She loves them.
Yeah, here. Well,
That's
that's
cute, bro.
So, but
Yeah.
yeah, man, like one of the things I would do is, I would cut back on some of the lines that they have. And I would spend more towards the customer service piece of Invicta, and it's not so much, I know some, like the people, they love the designs because, a lot of the designs that's out right now, people have given those ideas on the Invicta Collectors webpage for years, right? So some of the movements, not movements, but some of the designs you guys are seeing are designs that you guys asked for, right? Some of the elements of stuff you guys asked for. So I wouldn't change what you guys like so much, but I would work on the customer service piece. That'd be like my biggest thing. I would increase my warranty on it. You know what I'm saying? Like Citizen gives a 5-year warranty on their watches. And I would be one to say, hey, look, I would much rather put money into the quality of my watch, guarantee it, and I'm not going to argue with my customer because the fan base behind Invicta is so big. This is a movement, actually. It is a movement more than just a watch company. I mean, dude, you don't see too many, like some of the big brands. And of course, you got like AP. You have the, what do they call the Panerai folks? Panarinians or whatever they call them.
They call them Panaristes.
Panaristes, that's what it is. Panaristes. It's a big deal. It's a big deal among people, but like nobody can argue the fact that there's a crazy amount of Invicta collectors that are diehard, and there's some that won't collect another watch. They will never ever turn it back or buy. I actually caught some heat from from a few collectors. They was like, what's a micro brand? Why are you showing other watches? Nah, man, go back to Invicta. And these are conversations I'm having behind the scenes, and I can appreciate their loyalty and everything. But shoot, Invicta actually brought me to the party. But there's things I'm like, when you go to one of these wind-up shows or an event and you see all this other stuff, it's like, yo, that's crazy. Wow, it's a lot. You know what I'm saying? And then especially when you dive into the history of what is a Swiss made watch versus a Japanese made watch versus a German made watch. And don't get me wrong, I've seen some German made watches that are,
Oh,
y'all.
the German watches got a ton. You got Zen on the, I mean, it's expensive. And then you got Damasco, but you got a lot of like Young Hans. And then Nomos is an
Yeah.
easy way to get into a German brand with the in-house movement. And they're kind of affordable. You know what I mean? When you consider in-house movement and everything like that. And then of course you got like Elonga and Zona and stuff like that.
So there you
And
go.
see, this is why I love Invicta, carbon case, meteorite dial. You know what I mean? There's so much
Mhm.
going on that they got right there.
And and see see this is one of the ones where I say, okay, the history of Invicta and Imperius. I've heard two different stories about Imperius. Two different stories. The first story I heard was it was a young man that owned a company that had Imperius for a couple years and it didn't survive. AL noticed it and bought it from the company. The other story I heard was that AL actually launched it with this young man and it didn't work and it didn't work out or whatever the case was. So AL just took it over. I don't know what story is true, if either stories are true. But
It's always hard to tell with a story like that.
I don't
You just
have
kind
no.
of got to take a little bit of, both kind of.
Yeah.
Uh, but I think you're onto something. Invicta should cut down their model lines at least in half because it makes it more palatable and it gives a core collection. That way people can really know what they're getting and expect what
Mhm.
they're getting. Because I've had 3 or 4 grand divers, and even within the same model line, there's a lot of variation,
Yeah.
different bezel options,
Yeah.
and some of them don't even accept the same crystal.
Right.
When Invicta gets it right, they do. I have an Invicta Reserve. It's got a Salida SW200 in it, and it's even got a ratcheting clasp like this. Oris has a ratcheting clasp, so
Mm-hmm.
you can adjust it on the fly.
Mm-hmm.
Invicta was one of the first. I mean, I'm sure. I think forget who actually did the ratcheting class first. I know Rolex always had the Easy Link and the Glide Lock.
Yep. Yep.
There was a few with the ratcheting class uh, before Invicta, but I think they were one of the first ones to do it and make it affordable. But they didn't. They didn't release it on a lot of models. It was only on a few Invicta reserves, and I'd like to see that more. Like, if you're going to put it on one Invicta reserve, put the adjustable clasp on all of them.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That way people, well, especially if it comes on a bracelet. If it comes on a strap, that's a little bit different.
Yeah.
But if it's a bracelet option, uh, that quick adjustment clasp is just nice to have on the fly.
Right. You know what? One of the things I was thinking about with Invicta is how you have the Lunar Pilot. Different companies have watches that have either been issued to the military or it has been in space or there's been something, like who was it? Like Rolex has their deep sea dweller, and then it was Omega came out with one that went a little further and they got it marked on the dial if you yeah, so
They just came out with the Ultra Deep to beat the Sea Dweller.
yes,
Um,
yes. So my thing with Invicta, they did that NASA, which I just had a battle recently, and Victor Kyler pulled out that NASA Sabakwa. And I had forgot all about that watch. But there's two things that happened with Invicta back in 2013. One, they had the Edge of Space where they sent up, I want to say a dozen or more. No, I think it was like a dozen watches, right? And if you look at that video, you can clearly see that the Russian divers were one of the watches that they sent up to the edge of space. And when they came crashing down, some of them, the chute didn't come out all the way, and those watches still survived the impact on coming down. Now, of course, it was encased in something, but it survived coming back down, the heat, and then the extreme temperatures. It landed, and this watch is still working. I think they should do a tribute to those watches, the watches that they sent up, and have that, you know what I'm saying, the Edge of Space collection, like one time. You know what I'm saying? Like they should bring that back. Plus, in
yeah,
2013, what'd you say?
Fortis actually did something real similar where they put up watches. They use like a big weather balloon and they put a few
Yeah,
watches.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
And
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But Fortis actually has, a little more space history than that. They've actually been worn by, Russian. I think they call them cosmonauts in Russia, right?
Cosmonauts, okay.
They call them in Russia. I think they call them that. But so Fortis was actually worn. But it's interesting you say that about Invicta because the Glycine Airman has actually been worn in space.
In space, right. Yeah.
Along with the guy who was issued his moon watch.
Yep.
So, and that was his personal choice. I mean, the dude just decided to strap on an Airman on one wrist, and he had his chronograph on his other hand, his Omega moon watch. But he took his Airman into space with him, did everything that he did with his moon watch, and he made it back. Wearing, and there's pictures of him in his spacesuit wearing an Airman, and I think Invicta could capitalize on that more for sure. I think there's going to be a lot of people that say that they shouldn't because Omega likes to play that moon card as much as they can. I swear Omega would be like, who said something about the moon? We've been to the moon. You know what I mean? Like they come out with a new moon watch or moon swatch every chance they can.
Yeah. Hey, he mentioned Egard. Now I'll tell you what, I enjoy all of my watches, bro. I'm actually talking about, just doing the end of the year state of the collection and just bringing out all the watches that mean, like the most to me for this year. Even though I didn't buy this Egard, but this was technically outside of Aragon because I'd imagine you can still consider Aragon a micro brand because he only put so many out. I don't know if you can still. I don't know. I'm still out.
I think Argon's just a little bit above a micro brand because they just put out. They don't need a Kickstarter campaign. You know what I mean? I don't think they ever have. They release a lot of watches. My friend has a few of them. He's got a meteorite dial one that he really likes and he wears it a lot.
So I mean, my thing is as far as like just jumping back on that whole if you were the boss of a watch company, especially since I've been with been a fan of Invicta for so long, I do think that they need to have more social media presence, and I actually put a request in for that some years ago, got denied, and I can understand why because I don't have like a huge following, but still, I'm like, I would love to see somebody represent that is wholeheartedly an Invicta fan, and to get their word out, their merchandise and stuff out. I think that'd be something else that I would change. Is I would have at least one other, a YouTuber or content creator that's promoting the brand, but most definitely, I would take a page out of Rolex's book and make some of those pieces like your Pro Divers or special made Pro Divers, or if I had a watch that went to the moon and I put it out, it would be very low numbers. Now, I had this discussion with a collector years ago that if I had my way there, like the Pro Diver, which being so close to the Submariner, I wouldn't change that much to it, but that will be the one watch. Since they do have rights to glycine, I will have that watch completed and finished. It'll be Swiss made. I have it finished at that plant. With any glycine that comes out, my Pro Diver will be Swiss made. That one watch. And it'll be exclusive. I wouldn't put out as many. You know what I'm saying? Make people say, like, hey, I want this one. And I would release the number ones out in the world. You know what I'm saying? And of course, like I'll have different variations, different colorways. I'll tell you one watch that I'm impressed with. I know it's a little bigger than some people would like to, but this is a 52 millimeter. That tiger's eye, when I tell you, beautiful. This piece right here, and this is something I like. It doesn't have the Invicta on the side, but that case is so streamlined for it to be as big as it is.
I have the same watch, bro. Does yours have the adjustable clasp?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's the same one I have, but not without the tiger's eye.
Yep. Yep. Got it. That tiger's eye. Hey, do you know that in some cases the tiger's eye is used for mental health? They use this in mental health. They use the stone. I actually got some Tiger Eye stones. So when I do review this watch, I will be talking about that. And of course the review is going to be around the watch, but sometimes when Invicta throws a pitch out there, I don't think they know just how well it's received. Because this right here is probably one of my favorite watches of all time. For it to be as big as it is, there's a lot going on. It's symbolic, man. This watch is really
One of
nice.
one of my favorite features about that watch you have is now the crown is a little hard to manipulate, but when you unscrew it, is yours anodized red underneath the crown?
Yes.
Same thing with mine, and that's like a thing to let you know that it's not water resistant anymore. That's actually
Yeah. I like
that's
that.
actually a visual red mark saying, "Hey, you forgot to screw your crown down." And a lot of brands don't even, you could set your watch and forget to screw it down, and if you hopped in the pool or whatever, you damage your whole watch. So it's nice to have that visual reminder that your crown isn't screwed down. They did a lot of things right on that model that I like. I'd like to see them kind of carry some of that over to other model
So
lines.
I would. I mean, here's the deal. We're always looking at different things. When Invicta comes out with watches, it's like I'm telling you, I'm guilty of this. As soon as Invicta like releases a watch, I'm like, oh, I like that, and I get it at home. I'm like, man, I like this. Boy, I wish I could have this now. You know what I'm saying? It's like you're always chasing, but that's a part of watch collecting. You're gonna always chase the next high. That's just what it is.
You're
You know
always
what I'm
going to
saying?
be on the chase. And that's one thing that I do. I mean, I do wish they would slim down their model lines because it would make it more identifiable and
Yes.
easier for a lot of people to, identify with. But I don't think they should ever change using so many exotic materials.
Oh
Like
no.
a tiger's eye dial. I mean, I don't even know if another brand's done that. I've seen like lapis
Lapis.
dials and
Yep.
stuff like that in Omega, and I seen like Zelos recently did like a green dial, and they used some kind of stone. It wasn't like emerald or anything like that, but they did
Right.
Zelos did a GMT, and it had like a green stone dial.
Right.
Uh,
Right. Right.
but
Right.
Invicta doing Tiger's Eye, I've never seen that done before, and that's actually one of my favorite stones. I didn't even know they did that.
Yeah, man. You know what I'm saying? Because like the tiger's eye is symbolic for leadership. It's symbolic for like pride. You know what I'm saying? Confidence. It brings out so many different things, man. But like the crazy thing about Invicta, man, it's like when they hit like, because I'll say this, and if anybody from Invicta is watching, this is a home run. This is a home run, and I would do something like Wing, being like how Wing does his. When he brings out one, he brings out multiple. And I know they had the Malachite, but I would literally have put this in the 46 millimeter, like they did the Pro Diver, and a 40 millimeter. So it's like it's across the board. Everybody can play because everybody's not going to be able to fit a 52 millimeter. It's just not the right size for everybody. You know what I'm saying? So a 40 millimeter, the 44 or 46, and then that 50 millimeter or 52 would have been a perfect, like really nice. And just, I mean, I think like, and then on top of that, man, another thing that got me was the actual rotor on the back. It's so prestigious, man. It's like that gold. It's like almost 18 karat gold or something.
Oh, dude, I'm about to go get mine. I like the rotor on the back I like the rotor on the back of mine too. It's signed Invicta just like over and over and over again on the back.
Man, that's crazy.
It's done really nice. And then it's got the Swiss cross etched into the rotor on the back too. And I ain't gonna lie, I mean, a lot of people say like, the Oris red rotor is so nice. I gotta say that the ones on Invictas are probably better. And the Oris Aquas gets a lot of love in the watch community.
Yeah, it does. It does.
And it's a pretty expensive watch. But I gotta say, for an Invicta using the Sellita SW200, same movement inside, and you're talking about like, I paid probably I think $300 for mine. It's the
Mm,
same case and bracelet as yours, just a different dial.
mm.
So that's crazy. I mean, you're talking about a third of the price, 1/4
Yeah,
of the price,
yeah,
and you're
yeah,
still getting the sapphire crystal, same movement,
yeah.
water resistance. So you're getting, 90% of the watch for 1/3 of the price, 1/4 of the price.
Mm. Okay, I see you say if you win this raffle, I'm looking at one of Space G's comment. If I win this raffle, I can get at least get the buzz. Man, Space G, I don't think I have any more pro divers. I got some pro divers in the back, man, that I haven't worn, man. If you want to try some of those out, bro, I have no problem with that. Oh, I want to say this. Shout out to Kokomo Watch Company. I went out to them and they demagnetized a few of my watches. Some of them wasn't running properly, and I found something out that I just like. It was just I didn't think about it. Setting your phone next to your watch can magnetize. If you don't have that if you don't have the materials inside that's anti-magnetic, you can actually throw your watch off by like 20 seconds to a minute. And I had no idea. And I set my watches on it. Like when I'm taking pictures, I'll set it right next to it. And I did just magnetize the watch. One of my watches was running so poor. I said, man, I'm losing a lot of time. What happened? You know what I'm saying? Like I couldn't figure it out. Took it up to Kokomo Watch Company, man, and they demagnetized his watch. And she running perfectly fine right now. So be careful with that. Even your earbuds, do not put them near your watch. Remember, just like don't do it. Because you can, I'm not gonna say you ruin your watch, but you could throw the timing off. Like big,
Yeah,
like my
yeah,
watch
you'll see
it
that,
was missing a minute and 12 seconds or something like that. I was like, what
yeah.
is going on?
That's cool that Kokomo did it for free. That's weird because most movements now do have a lot of anti-magnetic properties. Like even your basic NH35 has like a uh they call it, it's like a nickel, and it's another couple types of alloys mixed together.
Yes,
So
yes.
that's even in an NH35. You know what I mean? Uh, so but it can happen, especially like in today's age. Laptop speaker magnets are pretty powerful.
Real,
In the
yeah.
airport, when you go through the airport, that's
Oh
another thing
yeah,
that people.
yeah, yeah. That thing, man. And see, that's the thing too. Listening to Ryan talk about Invicta, which I know they're on now. And they're supposed to have like some crazy sale tonight. Um, Listening to him describe the watch and talk about it, puts me down, throw me down this rabbit hole of researching. So, uh, ladies and gentlemen, for those that are, I'm not telling you not to be an Invicta fan or Aragon fan, but I will tell you to, if you have an AD close to you, go out and check out some watches. Go look and let them explain to you what's in the watch. Give you an idea. So if you do decide to get something else other than, and because you had mentioned earlier, Larry, that 200, you know what I'm saying, like $200 to $300 was your comfortable zone. Mine was about 150 to 225 was my comfortable zone. I've in recent times actually say, you know what, I'll go over that. I would, you know what I'm saying, like I don't have a problem with spending, $500 to $600 on the watch that I want, and it has to have the things that I like. Speaking of which,
I
like this
like that
Alpina,
Alpina. Yep, I like that Alpina. I watched her
bro,
unboxing video of it.
bro. I
It's got a
I
beautiful turquoise dial.
Gosh, bro, I dig this watch so much. It's very comfortable. But like the history, the brand, you know what I'm saying? It's like this
Alpina's
watch
underrated. They're
is what you
underrated.
say,
I said Alpina's underrated.
very underrated, man. This is a tool watch for any watch enthusiast. Any watch now, was it Norcane? I listened to the presentation. That watch is amazing. And I think the least expensive one you can get into is about $2,500. And I'm not saying it's not worth it, but if you're not willing to or not ready to spend two to $3,000 on a watch, I would literally start researching what watch company will give you the same characteristics as this watch. And I'm telling you, Alpina is one of those watches. This watch is, I mean, of
Yeah,
course, it's older than Norcane. Norcane is what, 4 years old, I think, or something like that. Or I
yeah,
think they started in 2019.
the thing about Norcane that everybody likes is that they have access to those tutor movements.
Yeah, that's it right there.
So
That's it.
everyone thinks it's like a budget, and I like them. I don't say like I dislike Norcane. But if I was going to spend close to that price point, I'd just grab an actual tutor.
Tutor,
I feel
yeah,
like
yeah.
it's not so much of a price difference. The price difference isn't wide enough to really separate Norcane in my mind
Hmm.
as being a bargain tutor, because when you're talking about if you're already spending $2,500, what's an extra $500? I mean, it's $500, but um, you might as well just grab a tutor at that point.
Yep.
I mean,
Unless you into that type of I mean, because it is an adventurous looking watch. Unless you into that type of stuff. I mean, but
yeah, but Tudor has like the Ranger, which is basically a
yeah.
budget for, and you know what I mean. So um, if it was like $1,000 price point difference between a Tudor and the equivalent Norcane model, I'd
Hmm.
say that's definitely something to look at. And I think on the secondary market, Norcane becomes a lot more, uh, you
Obtainable.
know, intriguing. It
Yeah.
really makes me want to try and pick one up on the secondary market, because then you are saving quite a bit of money compared to the Tudor.
I got a question for you, Larry. Are you a fan of Hublot?
I'm not a huge fan of Hublot.
Okay. Okay.
I don't dislike them though. I actually like a few of their models, like the Big Bang. I
Mhm.
like, um, but I forget which one it is. It's kind of like their entry model line. It uses like a Salida SW200, and they want like $5,000 for those, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I just don't see it. I don't see the materials. I don't see the movement um, to justify the price cost.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like
With
the watches, and I like the way a lot of them look. I
yeah.
just don't see where the value comes in. And I mean, I guess a lot of people would argue that, where's the value in any watch, really? You know what I mean? You got a cell phone that'll tell you the time.
Take the
You
time
don't
all day.
really, yeah, you don't really need to pick up any watch. So, I mean, I get it. It's kind of like a point that uh, is voided because we don't really need any of these watches.
Oh no, hey, we did mention it earlier. He said that's from Miss Seiko. He was like, nobody
Yeah,
go mention
this
it.
is yeah, the wave of Kanagawa. You got to have that in the background.
Yeah.
Uh, I love Seiko, and I love Japanese watches more than Swiss watches, to be honest. And if you've seen like what Damasco did, because they have, and that's a German brand. I don't know how many people in the chat are familiar with Damasco,
Dave D
but they're
know
a lot
listen,
like Zen. They
Dave
they
D know
offer
about
like 10-minute.
Damasco. Yeah.
Yeah, they got a lot of like 10-minute steel, and they use
Yeah.
that German U-boat steel and stuff like that. It's they ice harden it to like 1,300 Vickers and all that other
Yep.
stuff. It's
Yep.
pretty cool, jumping down that rabbit hole and learning more stuff about it. But what they did, Damasco just recently came out with their own version of the SW200, and what it uses in the winding mechanism is the Seiko Magic lever, right?
Okay.
So what they did was basically, because a lot of SW200 -1s and -2s have winding rotor problems, and it's a specific gear that meshes with the winding rotor. I think it's the reversing wheels
Okay.
that end up getting the problem most often. So what Damasco did when they came out with their in-house version of the SW or the ETA 2824 was they took out all that winding that came with the ETA 2824, and they basically made it more like a Seiko movement.
Mm.
So you don't have those winding issues. Um, and Seiko being all in-house and affordable, comparable to any other in-house brand. This has a 6R movement, so it's got a 70-hour power reserve,
Mm.
which is nice. I don't know if you ever jumped into anything with a longer power reserve, but it is nice to put it down for a day or so and then be able to pick it back up and it still be running. So Seiko, you know, uh, some people, don't like them because they're Japanese, but I I have a lot of love for Seiko. And the good thing about Seiko is you don't need to be a CEO of Seiko. If you want to change anything about a Seiko you own, you can grab mod parts on
Yeah.
the secondary supply. Right?
Yeah.
If you don't like your bezel insert, you can change it. If you don't like your crystal, you can change it. If you want a GMT movement, if you want to decorate your rotor, you want to display case back, anything you want to add to your watch, you want a DLC case, anything you want to add, you can add to a Seiko. You don't need to be the CEO. You can design and come up with whatever Seiko you want to build. You can use whatever dial you want to. These OEM dials from Seiko don't even fit the NH34 because it's got a larger cannon pinion to
Mm-hmm.
accommodate the fourth hand. I just use a little file and I, broach the dial out to the appropriate diameter, slap it right on the NH34, throw a GMT hand on there, hour hand, minute hand, and you know, there's your watch. Whatever you can think of, you can make. You can get good crown action, whatever you really want to do. You know what I mean?
That's what's up, bro. Hey, and you know what? I think I'm in on that. So listen, don't bother trying to be the CEO of the company that you collect. Just buy you a Seiko and become your own CEO. That right there, man, bro. That's so genius. That may just work.
I'm telling you, and you can't ever complain about the watch after that. If you
So,
built it yourself, everything should line up. Your chapter ring should line up. I know a lot of
mhm.
people are always like, every Seiko is a half a click off, and I get it. I mean, I have a couple SKXs that are more than half a click off. They're about a
Mm,
whole click and a half. But again, that's the thing about Seiko is that even my stock XKXs and everything like that. I just pop the crystal out, realign the chapter ring, and glue it down where I want it. And they're easily modifiable, and you can work on them yourself. So
and so you can just fix
um,
that issue.
you can just fix whatever issue. Um, Not that you should buy a brand new watch and have issues or anything like that. I'm not making an excuse for Seiko, but no one can really argue that you can't build your own.
Right.
This one has like a MM200 style case. It's got like nice little chamfers on the side of the case there, and the transitions from brush to polish are smooth. And it's got this scalloped edge on the underside, so when it's on your wrist, it's see how like scallops there. It's
Yeah,
real
yeah, yeah.
soft. I mean, it's real soft. So when you bend your wrist, it's
You got
like
drill lugs on there too?
yeah, it's got drilled lugs.
Get out of here. Okay. Okay.
So you can just, I mean, and you can do whatever bezel you want. Coin edge. Um, I do a lot of LX style bezels or whatever you really want.
Mm,
You can do, so if you ever purchase a Seiko, and like all watches, like you say, there's little things about it you want to change. Just inherently, that's a thing. The more you wear a watch, little things are going to say, I'd do it this way or that way. Well, with
right.
Seiko, you can put a loom date wheel on this thing if you want. You know what I mean? You want a meteorite dial? I did a meteorite dial NH34 um, with a Pepsi bezel and GMT hand, and I loomed out the date wheel. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
that's
And if you
sick.
want, yeah, I think you commented on the video
Yeah,
of it.
bro. That's and see, you know what? And that's the stuff like I love customization. I love having stuff that, and everybody got their own thing, right? case in point, even though I know, I mean, I paid a pretty penny for this watch, but I mean, it's different. You know what I mean? And
It's so
I can
different. You're
always
not
get
gonna
the
find
huh?
if you were trying to get a Squale with the same kind of carbon case, because that's a pressed carbon case. If you were
Mm-hmm.
trying to get the same kind of carbon case anywhere else, you'd pay way over double the price.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah. And
That's
that's the beauty about, that I like about Invicta, man, is you can get some of the elements that, other watch companies they have, and they're charging you out the butt with that, man. It's crazy. Like, yeah, so
and
I dig this.
the other thing about that carbon case is that watch looks big, but I bet it's not heavy.
No, no, no,
I
not at all.
bet it weighs not much more than a 42 millimeter all steel watch.
Yeah, yeah. It is. I got like it's actually lighter than I have a 44 millimeter that's way heavier than that. You know what I'm saying? Like stainless steel. That sucker's heavy for a 44. I got a 42 that's pretty heavy. Unlike, I mean, my glycine is actually, you know the quality of glycine. Those are pretty relatively light. But yeah, man. I mean, when it come down to these watches and stuff like that, uh, Space G95 is asking, what is Larry C's channel?
I got a combat sub right here too, the Golden Eye.
I got that in here somewhere. Well, where you at, baby?
Oh, you got a Golden Eye too?
Hold on. Yes, sir.
Oh,
yes, sir.
yeah.
Yes, sir. Plays no games, bro. Plays no games, man.
Space G95. My channel is just called Larry C. You might be able to find it. You might not. You can just look up like Seiko NH34 build, and one of my videos will probably pop up. I was one of the first people to really start modding with the NH34 and putting it on YouTube.
Yep.
I mean, a lot of people do and have since or whatever. But if you want to learn how to do one from the ground up, I do it like a step-by-step breakdown. How to do it.
Oh,
I also got a few like dirt bike and four-wheeler rebuild videos on there as well.
that's that Pagani I was telling you about.
Dude, that thing, yeah, that's got the rainbow bezel on it.
Yeah. I absolutely dig this watch, man. They did a great job on this, man. Great job. And then, of course, I got my Wing NH34. That was my first NH34 collar GMT.
Oh, yeah, yep.
So, hey, and I do want to say this to all of my Invicta collectors. All of my Invicta collectors, I know some of you guys do look at other brands. If you're looking for a brand, I'm not going to say to kind of scratch the itch of having a big watch, but something like a little different, but kind of same cues, design cues. I would say Spinnaker is a really nice watch brand that is inexpensive, and they still got those watches that I know you love because they got some crazy colorways.
Spinnaker and Islander too.
Islander, yeah, man. I think Islander is a very important. So I'm actually doing a video on that. I'm reviewing this watch. It'll come out next week. In my opinion, I think Islander is one of the most needed watch brands out there. I got a chance to meet Mark when I went out to Chicago. And, one of the things people always wonder, I think like from conversations I've had in the past, how are the CEOs of some of these companies, people that are making these watches or running them, if you met them in person, what are they like? And I could tell you that I had on a Phoebus, the purple one, that is an Islander collab. He saw it. He said, "Oh, you got the collab on it." Like we talked. We just had a general conversation. We talked about watches, talked about Chicago and some other stuff, and they were talking about food. Down to earth, he's very energetic when it comes to. He said he's sort of kind of standoffish on the videos. He said that. Man, this dude is genuine from what I've seen. Now, of course,
yeah. I mean, I think that is translated in his videos. I've had not too many interactions with Mark. Most of them, I don't even know if they've been him. I've only emailed Islander for a few different times, mostly for mod parts, because back in the day, before Islander was even an actual brand, it was like Watch Your Way or something like that, and you could
Right.
basically order an SKX to spec. You'd spec it out for whatever parts you wanted. They'd build it for you and ship it out to you. So it was like being able to, it was like Build a Bear for your watch. It was like you could, and
That's a good one.
it was like it was before Islander was even a thing, and I had a couple questions about some bezel inserts because I had a fitment issue with the bezel, and he actually, I don't know if it was him or someone on his team, but he actually sent me the exact crystal that I would need, the same one that they use. So I didn't
Okay.
even have to try buying a bunch of different crystals. I
Right.
bought one that I thought would fit, and then it didn't fit. They took the crystal back, and then they sent me the exact one I would need, and all I had to do was tell them what bezel insert I had,
Right.
and they
Right.
knew
Right.
exactly what crystal would fit. So it took a lot of the guesswork out for me. And this is when I first started modding, and like I said, all I bought was a bezel insert. I mean,
Mm.
$37, and they didn't have to respond to me and
Yeah.
get me
Yeah.
the exact crystal I wanted. So Mark and his team, I don't know if it was him or someone on his team that I emailed, but they responded quickly and they knew exactly what crystal I would need for that bezel insert. And when you're selling that many parts, it's like to know exactly what crystal you need to match that exact
Right.
part. You got to be on top of your game. You know what I mean? To know all that stuff and be able to respond quickly and uh, like I said, it's little interactions like that you have, even if it wasn't working with somebody on his team that just,
Right.
they stand behind the product that they're selling.
And that's why I said, of all of the watch brand and watchmakers and the YouTubers and everybody that's associated with, just collecting horology, however you want to put it, um, it's much needed. I really, and he just did a collab with the Urban Gentry, and I saw who was it? What's his name? Jody from Just One More Watch. He just dropped a watch like
Yeah,
last week or something.
he just dropped his new watch line.
Yup. And then I just saw the Mad Watch Collector is coming up with either a collab or he's doing his own watch. So it's definitely, the playing field is definitely a lot bigger. I do
Speaking of,
appreciate micro brands though. I do.
Rob has a couple micro brand builds that he did with Borealis.
Really?
Yeah, so this is a random Rob limited edition.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so I mean, micro brands, like you said, basically that they work with YouTubers.
That's dope,
Not
man.
not saying that that all watch brands need to work with YouTubers or anything like that. But you were talking about Invicta doing that earlier on in the stream,
Yeah.
and I think Invicta's a little too big to kind of let people in like that, and I guess they really don't need help selling watches. But
Yeah.
it would be nice to see them, get a few people, that they trust and whatever else that are on YouTube, just talking about their own personal experiences and stuff like that, with the
Yeah.
brand.
You know what? That
Because
was something that I inquired about a while ago, Larry. And I'll tell you, I do agree with you. Invicta don't need anybody to sell watches because they're gonna sell watches regardless. You know what I'm saying? So hey, so
hold on, Jazz.
welcome back.
She's trying to get on camera. Girls, they always want to be in the camera.
She said, "Let me in. I'm a star."
Hold
How you
on.
doing, sweetie? That's
Kids,
awesome.
bro.
Hey, it's nothing. There's nothing wrong with it, man. I mean, shoot, my grandbaby, she always pop. If she's around, she's gonna always pop in. Um, but yeah, they definitely don't need any help selling watches. I look at it from a different perspective of because the community is what it is and people dive into Invicta, I think that'll be just a kind gesture to allow, some of their core. And I agree with you. There should be a segment on YouTube where like people get to live out their testimonials. So like those 5-star ratings, I think they should like let that spill out onto YouTube. Hey, okay, what tooth did you just miss? Hold up, I'm trying to see where that tooth go.
So she's trying.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay, I see you. I see you. But yeah, I think they should have a YouTube testimonial where people can actually drop. You know what I'm saying? What they have. Oh, we lost Larry. Okay, there you go.
I was really trying to mess with the camera.
No, you're fine. No, you're fine. Yeah. That's all I'm saying. They don't need our help to sell watches. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that is like they give free advertisement with all of the Facebook groups. You got Invicta 757. You even got groups like Floss, and that's not even it's not an Invicta based group. You know what I'm saying? But like you have Invicta collectors that's talking about, hey, I just graduated, or hey, this the clothing I got on Levi. It's one of those where everybody can come in and just share something about your lifestyle or whatever. But they were all birthed off of this watch that we all collect, this company that we love. So that would be a kind gesture to allow some people to at least do that part.
I 100% agree with you, and it kind of goes back into what we were talking about with Mark, and even taking care of people who spend even little bit amounts of money. You got to treat your smallest person like it's your biggest person.
Heck
You know what I mean? And Invicta would benefit greatly by having reaching out to someone like yourself or any other person, really, just to let people know that they're listening. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it takes, that's the one thing that micro brands have on like as an advantage is you can talk to the owner. You can interact with the owner. It's a personal project to them. And when people are spending the kind of money that they spend on watches like Invicta or any other watch, when you're spending that kind of money, you not necessarily you don't need to be heard, but you at least need to be accounted for, right?
Yeah.
You don't need to feel like you're part of something so big that you're just another number or whatever. You know what I mean? They need to kind of have somebody on YouTube to kind of bridge that gap and do a lot of like personal media for them, like as a brand representative.
Oh yeah.
Instead of having like big people that you can't get a hold of, like Gabrielle Union or whatever. You know what I mean? It's like no one's going to get a hold of her. You know what I mean? You can't talk to her. You know what I mean? So have somebody that represents the brand that people can actually interact with.
Yeah, that's big. You know what? I'll have to give. Matter of fact, because I have this watch right here, the eGuard Watch Company, right? He was the first person to agree to an interview. Once I purchased this watch, I wore it. I told him. I called him. We talked on the phone or whatever. No, through email. I'm sorry. We talked through email. Then we talked on the phone, and he agreed to come on. He came on the Tommy Big Show, Tommy Big Time channel a couple years ago, and from there got a chance to talk to him. And I believe William Shatner even got a watch that just came out. He did a collab with, right? But he's somebody that you could talk to, and he's been in, like, this dude was one of the zombies in The Walking Dead. You know what I'm saying? So this dude's an actor. He's an activist. He has a podcast, man. He represents so many different people supporting police and soldiers and stuff like that, veterans. He does a lot for everybody, for the most part. But I love the fact that he's readily available. He's just like one email or a phone call, a text away. Even I like Laurier, Lorenzo and Lauren, man, they came on the show and they
example. Even Notice, the guys that do Notice, they're always at the watch meets and the wind ups and stuff. Mm-hmm. And Notice is getting pretty big. And I get it. When a brand gets to a certain point, they can't have that many interactions. But that's why they need to reach out to YouTubers and try and bridge that gap between.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly. I mean, hey, y'all, look, I'm gonna tell you this. Being the CEO or not of a watch company, this pool is getting big because life is bigger than, I have a watch from the company Constantine Weiss. This is a $99 watch. It may be 100 something now, but I paid $100 for this. And as you can see, the case back is on the front. Glasuta, they have a watch that's similar to this, and they got like like some type of butterfly movement over here to the side. It's their own design, but that watch is very expensive. It's not. I mean, the average person, it'll
yeah.
take them. You seen that watch?
I've seen the glass original,
Oh, that
version
Glasuta,
of that
yeah,
watch.
that watch. It's a beautiful watch. I saw it in person. I actually have a few pictures of it. I've touched it. I've held it. The watch is amazing, but it's the same concept. And that was a concept that a customer said, I spend a lot of time looking at the case back of my watch. I wish it was on the front. Glasutra Original did that, I think, a year or 2 years ago, put it in design, and now it's a thing. And you're paying top dollar for that watch. I paid $100 for this, and it has the same concept. And this is all mechanical. But the point I'm making is the pool is so big because you have your name brand. You got your Rolexes, AP, Accutron, Citizen, and then you have the micro brands. And there's a new micro brand being built like almost every other day. I just got news of a new Kickstarter, and they got a watch that has 1,200 Vickers, sapphire crystal, the Miyota 9039, no date, and this watch is either 39 or 40 millimeters, 11 and a half millimeters thick. And the watch is going on Kickstarter right now for like $400 or $499 or something like that. It's like really cheap in comparison. So, dude, there's a new watch company being born on a regular basis, man. So the pool, Invicta, Aragon, they're not safe. Seiko's not safe because some people are like, hey, you know what? I'm sick of seeing the same designs. I'm going to this micro brand. It can happen. And you can lose some customers. You may be like, oh, we'll get more. No, you want that one customer to still continue to come back because they'll keep talking about how good your product is. I mean,
I agree with you. The micro brand world is like a lot of people didn't take Zelos super serious at first, but they're not even a micro brand anymore. You know what I mean? They're
no.
above it. So, and when you were talking about that micro brand that you were just talking about now, when you're talking about it's hardened, it's got the Miyota movement, I
Yeah.
immediately thought Traska has some problems on their hands because Traska, I mean, they're most like known for that mint dial, but
Yep.
they also have the ice hardened steel, which kind of gives brands like Zen and Damasco a run for their money. Because
Yep.
if you get a Traska that's got the same ice hardened steel on it, scratch resistant, um, then Damasco and Zen have something to worry about. So
Yep.
when you see the same kind of materials and techniques being utilized in the micro brand world, it really makes people who were looking at a Zen U50 that costs like $1,200. It gives them something that they might turn their attention away and get something like that micro brand, even if they ultimately end up with a Zen in the long term. It's still it might be enough for some people where they never even look at Zen again because they might wear that watch and bump it around a bunch and see that it never scratched, and then they might not even think the Zen's worth the money.
That's true. That's true. I mean, which just brings us to this ultimate. I mean, we all watch collectors. We're enthusiasts. We love it. You know what I'm saying? Even if you don't buy the watch, just having the information or knowing somebody that have it. I really dig looking at other people's collection. I love the fact that you brought out, you know what I'm saying, your glycine collection. That's one that, okay, I have to get an airman. You know what I'm saying? Just especially because I know it was being issued to the Air Force at one, I think during either the late 60s, early 70s, they were being issued, you know what I'm saying, to Air Force, some Air Force units. And as far as military, y'all know, man, I'm a vet. I love anything that's military inspired or that our U.S. government had something to do with. So I'm a big sucker for that. And just to have that history on my wrist, knowing that one of my previous servicemen rock this watch, I get excited about that stuff. But outside of that, that's just me. You have your own, path to go down. I think was it Jody from Just One More Watch had issued or he did a video on a field watch. It's like $87, and I think it has an NH34 or NH35 in it or something like that. And I actually went over there and looked at the watch, and it's actually on Amazon. I think it's $95 on Amazon, but if you go to the website, you get 10% off of it right now. I can't think of the name of this darn watch, but it's a nice looking watch. It almost reminds me of like the Russian diver for Invicta, but it's just smaller, like a 40 millimeter Russian diver. That just happened to be a field watch. And if you're like price conscious, a lot of people will run over there and buy that watch. If you're an enthusiast and you just want to add it to your collection, you'll run over there and buy that watch. So I think it'll be, in their best interest, especially with the economies, people making their decisions. They drawing a line in the sand. Some people, and I know a lot of you guys, just by what you told me, you stopped collecting certain brands because they weren't offering what you wanted, so you went elsewhere. So I hope that some of these companies that we talked about don't get too big in their britches and think that, the people still want it. The people are asking for it. If you're not giving it to the people are going to go out and find it. Or, do like Larry and buy a Seiko and mod it.
I think you make a perfect point. No brand
Yes,
is safe. You can't
No
rest on
brand
your
is safe.
laurels. You can't rest on your laurels for too long.
I'm telling you.
You know what I mean? Not every brand is Rolex. Not every brand can,
True.
do the same thing over and over again and get those kind of results. So it's like, and with the micro brands out there, every brand has to kind of step it up. And I think Oris is kind of a good example of that. This one is a Sellita based Oris, but now they have the caliber 400. And
Okay.
One's big drawback with Oris was the Sellita movement. And so Oris addressed it. Now they stayed in-house and they're still independently owned, so they haven't been bought by like a big watch brand like Swatch or anything like that. So, they spent their own money developing an in-house movement. And the caliber 400, it's got like a 10-day power reserve. It's kind of crazy. But, it's a brand like Oris. A lot of people would think, oh, they're too big to fail. They've been independent forever. Just keep doing what you're doing. But they listened to what the enthusiasts were saying. They wanted in-house movement. They wanted something special. So Oris listened, and now they have the caliber 400. Now they still have this as an option, which I really like because it reduces the cost. So
Right.
if you want an Oris and you want to spend less, you can still get the Sellita movement. But if you're a diehard fan or you want to upgrade, you have that option to go fully in-house with the caliber 400.
Okay, I got a question for you, but right because we about to get up out of here. Let people know how many videos do you drop a week, or how often are you dropping videos?
It's rare. I don't post a lot. I just post videos when I do builds on watches.
Okay.
I do giveaways and stuff like that. And I have a website. In fact, Trap, you should email me when we get off here.
Yeah. I got
You can look at one of my videos and get my email or find it. It's pretty easy to get a hold of. It's timelesst10@gmail.com. I'll send you a shirt. I make loomed t-shirts.
I seen it. Yeah, with the like watch logos and stuff like that. I saw that. I thought that was really dope.
You can pick whatever dial you want, bro. Email me. I'll send you one for free. You know what I mean?
Man, I appreciate it, man. So this is what I want to do, bro. Since you're doing that, yeah, we're gonna keep this thing going, man. I love supporting other channels. I love supporting people. I love keeping this thing going, man. And that's what I really want to do, Larry. Is despite I don't care how big or small we all got something in common. You know what I'm saying? Like we can put all our other differences to the side, or that don't even come into play sometimes because we're talking about watches. You know what I'm saying? So, ladies and gentlemen, at this point, man, if you have not connected with Larry C, go over there and check out his channel so you can see how to mod a watch. You know what I'm saying? And some of you guys are, mechanically sound or inclined. Go check it out. You know what I'm saying? Get more personal with your watch, man. And I remember Tommy Big Time used to say that, man, you could change your own battery, because I would never change my own battery, but I watched enough of his videos and boom, now I'm changing my own battery, changing gaskets out and all kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? So,
100%. Everyone thinks that they can't do it, but
oh
it's
yeah,
another way to connect on your watch. And I mean, I watch a lot of wristwatch revival. I don't know if you probably
yeah,
watch
yeah.
you
Yes,
probably watch him. Yeah.
yeah.
So I'm steps away from buying a couple junk pocket watches on eBay, and
And just fixing them.
I'm like one watch cleaning machine away from. Hold on.
Hey, bro, I'm gonna tell you, she stole the show from you, bro. Everything you said went out the window, man. It's all about her now.
I know she's bossy. Little girls, man. They steal that. They steal the show, command attention when they come in. So, but yeah, bro. I appreciate that. Like I said, I always supported your channel too. Well,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
I didn't know you had a channel. But I had seen you like in the community. You know what I mean?
Right,
Commenting
right.
on some of Rob's videos, even one of my own. And so I had seen you around, but I didn't know you had a channel. The second
Yeah,
Rob said he connected with you, and
yeah. Rob,
that
nice guy, bro. He really cool, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, connected with him, like we talked, and when we were out there in Chicago, man, really nice guy. You never know
he
what you're gonna get until
recommended.
you see these people. But yeah, I have no like Rob is legit. You know what I'm saying? Legit dude.
Bro, he recommended your wind up video over his own. He said yours was better than his by far and away. You know what I mean?
I
He was like
appreciate that. I
he was like
appreciate that.
I don't know how many new people you got when he gave you a shout out, but
Oh, a
as
lot
soon
of
as
people
he,
came over.
as
Yeah,
soon as he said you had a channel, I jumped on and I left a comment. I was like, bro, I didn't know you had a channel. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Or I would
yeah.
have been subscribed. You know what I mean? Because I had seen you around the space. You know what I mean? And it's a growing community,
Yep.
but it's not so big of a community that we don't
It's
all kind
niche,
of know each
bro.
other.
It's really niche. It's not as big as
Yeah.
people think. I promise. Even with Nico Leonard has 1 million people, but he still fails in comparison to other YouTubers. On bro,
Yeah,
collecting
yeah,
watches and
yeah.
talking watches is very. Y'all don't think it's as big as his. No, it's not as big as the car community. Shoot, even the mukbang community, man. Like, dude, collecting watches, the cruising community is huge. Huge. You know what I'm saying? So y'all, we gotta support what we can, man. Larry C, I appreciate you coming on here, man.
No problem, bro. Yeah.
I will say this to everybody, man. And even you, Larry, man, keep doing what you're doing, man. Keep just grinding, bro, and showing us the way, like the mods and stuff. Thank you for putting that information out there for us to watch. You know what I'm saying? Even sharing your family. I said this about DK from Semicon Review. Well, he's Semicon enthusiast. He changed. I don't know what he is nowadays. He's always changing. But everybody that's in the watch, even if I don't agree with you, I do appreciate your content because I do watch you. I do watch a lot of content. May not comment, but I do watch a lot. You guys are very youthful, and I appreciate your time. Everybody in the chat, thank you for being here. Thank you guys. That all of my members of the channel, thank you, man. Y'all make this thing just go to a whole nother level, man. I appreciate you. And everybody, my wife was in here, and I know she was supporting. You know what I'm saying hi to everybody. So with that being said, family, thank you for your time. You can now go back to your life. I'm done. Y'all be blessed.
All right. Peace out, bro.
All right.